The title of the exhibition is Woven, Unwoven. It's marking 2 decades of my professional career. My work is all connected by the appreciation of yarn itself, the beauty of a thread. I love the fact that weaving and yarn is something of a universal language. I know that I could go anywhere in the world, visit another weaver, and we'd be both able to understand what our work is about without having the connection of a shared verbal language. When I was studying for my MA, I did a lot of research into the links between text and textiles. I don't try and explore that in a really literal way. It's just intuitive and it's there with everything I make. This idea of the language of textiles. One aspect of my research that has really sort of stayed with me is learning about the 3 fates in Greek mythology, who between them would spin the thread of life, measure the thread of life, and then determine when that thread was cut. And I just love a thread being representative of the idea of fate. The word line and linen shares the same derivation, and it comes from the idea of a thread of linen being used to determine a line. We think about the plumb line or architects plotting out where a space may be built. I've used the linen in a very refined, restrained way, a kind of groundwork in which to explore. I've been using this really heavy metallicized polyester. It's almost like a rope. It's very elegant, lustrous and heavy. It's just a joy to work with. As the light changes throughout the day, you get wonderful reflective surfaces and a sense of depth and volume. I'm quite obsessed with lino weaving. This is a very particular area of weaving where the warp threads twist around themselves as part of the weave process. The warp becomes very, very minimal and the focus is all on the weft yarn. It allows me to cut into the fabric, but for the fabric to remain stable. I've been cutting into the fabric very selectively to create these sort of bold shapes. It's a very unique process that allows me to create a view through, a sense of being able to see something that's behind. Another key area of my practice is looking at how I can take the most delicate, unwoven structures and make them permanent. I do this in 2 ways. I either cast the structures in acrylic resin. I've also been taking this aesthetic across into glass lamination as well. This allows me to again capture the most delicate structures, but in a more architectural sense. Circles are something of a recurrent image and symbol that's occurring through a lot of my work. Again, it's a very sort of symbolic shape, a shared language, and for me it's really about looking out to the horizons and particularly in the evenings looking at a full moon. I was really fortunate to undertake a residency in India. I was able to undertake an indigo dyeing workshop, and it's something that I really fell in love with. This exploration has been running alongside my weave practice for the last couple of years. This has been really supported by a grant from the Queen Elizabeth Scholarship Trust. I've been creating very delicate silk fabrics with speckled yarns in the weft, creating quite minimalist textiles, but they act as a brilliant counterfoil to indigo dyeing. I've learnt so much by having this time to explore and experiment, make the kind of textiles that have been in the back of my mind for years. And this work is intended to be a synthesis of all that I have learnt in that time. Recent times have been so chaotic and uncertain. I've instinctively created a body of work that is hoping to be a counterbalance to that, a moment of calm, an opportunity for reflection, quiet and meditation on structure, surface, colour and light.